Warning: this video might scare you. If you're easily frightened, it's best not to watch. Viewer discretion is advised.
Number 1, Dan, the adventurer behind the YouTube channel. Sort of interesting, is known for exploring the wilderness and pushing his limits in nature. On this particular night, he ventured deep into a remote forest, seeking peace and a chance to test his endurance against the elements. But what began as a quiet solo camping trip soon took a chilling turn. The video starts with Dan hiking through the woods on the rainy evening of February 21st, 2025. His backpack is heavy, and the soaked ground makes every step harder.
On the ground, it's forecast 50% chance of rain for every hour until 9 AM tomorrow. My shoes are literally falling apart around my feet, and I couldn't set out until after it had got dark. This sounds like the recipe of a fantastic first ever solo wild camp. I'm Dan Brown, and let's just go and enjoy some nice peaceful calm time in the hill.
Darkness has already set in, and with rain forecasted throughout the night, the conditions seem less than ideal. Yet, he presses on, ready to embrace the challenge. From the outset, something about the atmosphere feels off. The darkness seems thicker, the quiet more unsettling. As Dan searches for a spot to cook, he mentions hearing faint noises and catching glimpses of what he thinks might be flashes of light.
I'm sure I can hear stuff and see little flashes and that. I'm sure I can't, but I can't be sure in here where I need to be. So yeah. Lights only now. I was just shining the torch around on full beam, showing like the woods to the camera. Some car somewhere on a road up there stopped, and I swear a torch shone into the trees.
But he brushes it off, unsure if his mind is playing tricks on him. Then things get stranger. A car passes on a distant road, and Dan notices what looks like a torch beam scanning the trees.
Oh man, my heart is going. I swear the car that I just mentioned pulled up and somebody's got out. I don't know if it's just coincidence. I'm trying to tell myself that, but I am really, oh my goodness me. I know. This isn't fun, this. I am so stupid. I am the stupidest person I don't know if you can see that they are literally scanning up and...
Moments later, the car stops, and Dan's heart races as he realizes someone may have gotten out. Fear sets in. His peaceful camping trip suddenly feels anything but peaceful. He crouches low, trying to stay unseen, unsure whether he's just being paranoid or if there's a real threat lurking nearby. Determined to keep moving, Dan pushes deeper into the woods.
I don't know what to do. I'm literally crouched. I'm sat on the ground. Right, the camera off.
He finally finds a spot to cook and regains some composure, but the unsettling feeling of being watched doesn't go away. Every distant rustle or sound keeps him on edge, and the oppressive fog that rolls in adds to the eerie atmosphere, making it even harder to stay calm.
No way, given that this is the mist and the fog conditions, there's no way I'm going to make it to where I wanted to pitch up.
As the weather worsens and his nerves fray, Dan decides it's time to pack up and leave. The remote hilltop where he planned to camp feels too exposed, especially after he hears the distant sound of quad bikes. Concerned that someone could easily spot him, and fearing the unknown, he knows it's not worth spending the night in fear.
And worsening weather conditions and my inability to calm my mind fully, especially after hearing the quad bikes, that did give me a slight concern that somebody could come up there on the hilltop with ease and see me lit up like an easy target all alone on a stormy hilltop. And so, yeah, I thought, if this isn't going to be fun, I don't want to just be lying awake in fear on my own on a hilltop for 7 hours. And like I say, just a little bit too much of a public place. What's happened in the last sort of 20 minutes, I've heard voices. Thought I heard quad bikes or dirt bikes, something like that. Heard a shout. I thought perhaps I didn't hear the shout at first, but I've just been hearing a car alarm go off in the distance, and I'm just wondering if there is any mischief afoot, because I saw a thing on Facebook about there being some trouble going around the area, and if people have parked up on the back lanes and stuff, I don't...
On his way back to the car, Dan's anxiety intensifies. He hears faint voices and distant shouts, and even catches the sound of a car alarm in the distance. It feels like everything around him is signaling danger. Thoughts of local reports about trouble in the area cross his mind, and he becomes even more convinced that leaving was the right decision. Reflecting on the experience later, Dan realizes it wasn't the rain or the rough hike that made him abandon his camp. It was that gut feeling, the deep sense that something wasn't right. He leaves the forest with a valuable lesson. Sometimes, the most important survival skill is trusting your instincts. Subscribe and help us reach 10,000 subscribers. 90% of the people watching have not subscribed yet, so please do, it's free. Number 2. In November 2024, a YouTuber from the Trek Planter family, known for his channel Sidetracks, had a chilling experience while camping alone that left him rattled. What started as a peaceful solo trip quickly turned into a night he wouldn't forget.
I noticed that no one else was in this campground. It was just me. And I thought, people will come later, and they didn't. It was just me this entire night, this big campground, and it was just me here. I set up camp, I was making dinner. It was nice, it was a great peaceful night. And I thought, I'm gonna go see these petroglyphs nearby. So I make the short walk over here. So I go up to this rock art site and see it. And it's just, seeing rock art at night is so much more different than seeing it during the day. And it just makes me wonder if some of these were meant to be.
He arrived at the campsite and noticed something strange. It was completely deserted, not a single camper around. Thinking others might show up later, he set up his tent, made dinner, and enjoyed the quiet. It seemed like a perfect night. Afterward, he decided to check out some nearby rock art. Walking over to the site in the dark, he found it eerie and oddly captivating, wondering if these ancient carvings were meant to be seen at night instead of during the day.
What's interesting is I went back to my tent, started reading, I started falling asleep, and I'm woken up in the middle of the night and I hear footsteps outside my tent in several directions. The ones that I heard were definitely sounding like footprints from like a human or something. And I got so freaked out because I got woken up that I could tell there's like probably 2 or 3 of them. And I was just thinking, like, did people come here at night? What's going on? I was just so confused. And so I could hear them getting closer and closer to my tent.
But in the middle of the night, he woke up to the unmistakable sound of footsteps outside. And it wasn't just one set. There were several circling his tent. The footsteps were heavy, like those of a person, and they seemed to get closer with each passing second. Confused and frightened, he wasn't sure what to do. Were people walking around his campsite in the dead of night? Why would they be out there? Feeling threatened, he grabbed his car keys and hit the panic button.
Turn on my car alarm. I made the car horn go off. And when I did that, the footprint noises stopped. And I grabbed my brightest flashlight, looked outside my tent. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything running away. Didn't hear anything, any voices or anything. So I got out of my tent and I was just shining my bright flashlight, which is really bright. And I was just like, anybody there? Who's there? Talking and shining my light everywhere. I didn't see nothing. I was so shaken that I went to my car and left the campground. And I eventually just fell asleep in my car.
Making the horn blare loudly. Suddenly, the footsteps stopped. He quickly shone his brightest flashlight outside, but saw nothing. No movement, no figures, no sound of anyone running away. Determined to investigate, he stepped out of his tent and scanned the area, calling out to see if anyone would respond. But there was only silence. Nothing stirred in the darkness. Shaken and unnerved, he decided he couldn't stay there any longer. He packed up, got into his car, and drove a short distance away before finally falling asleep inside the vehicle. At sunrise, still unsettled, he drove back to his campsite to look for answers. He expected to find footprints, animal tracks, or some sign of who or what had been walking around his tent. But after carefully searching the sandy, dirt-covered ground for over 15 minutes, he found nothing. Number 3. On February 2nd, 2025, a lone hiker wandering deep in the forest stopped near a river to enjoy the peaceful view. As he reached for his phone to capture the serene moment, the calm was shattered by a series of terrifying, bone-chilling sounds. What began as distant, strange noises quickly escalated into high-pitched screeches that echoed through the trees, screeches unlike anything he had ever heard before. Startled and overwhelmed by fear, the hiker didn't wait around to find out what was causing the commotion. He immediately took off, putting as much distance as possible between himself and whatever might be lurking nearby. Speculation about the eerie sounds spread quickly. Some people believe it could have been a Wendigo, a sinister creature rooted in legend. Others insist it might have been just a wild animal. But the question remains, What kind of animal makes noises that unnerving? Was it something explainable, or could it have been a cryptid? One of those mysterious, elusive creatures said to roam the wilderness. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. The hiker's frightening encounter left him shaken and left others wondering about what might really be hiding in the shadows of the forest. Number 4. In a spine-tingling video uploaded to TikTok by TRF Hobby Andrew, an adventurer fascinated by unexplained phenomena, something truly bizarre unfolds deep within the forest. As Andrew explores the quiet wilderness, the eerie calm is shattered by an unexpected and unmistakable sound, the distant rumble of a train. To his shock, a locomotive slowly appears on the tracks ahead, emerging like a ghost from the mist. But something is off. There are no active railways in the area. How could a train be moving here?
Oh boy. What do we got going on here? Spooky train of some sort.
Andrew freezes, torn between disbelief and growing curiosity, as the train comes to a stop right in front of him. Against his better judgment, he decides to investigate. Climbing aboard, Andrew looks around and mutters nervously about the unsettling discovery.
That's weird. I don't think anybody's driving. I'll top up and see. Whoa, that's a creepy skeleton. This has been moving for a while. Yikes.
Inside, he finds a dusty, shadowy interior, eerily empty, until something catches his eye. As he peers further, he notices faint movement in the dim light.
78. Huh. I wonder where it's going. See if we can kick in the door or something. I wonder what's in here. Whoa, no, whoa, nope, I'm out.
A flicker, a shape. It's hard to make out, but it's there. His heart races as he backs away, overwhelmed by a creeping sense of dread. Without waiting to figure out exactly what or who he just saw, Andrew bolts from the train, his camera capturing every shaky, hurried step. The video ends abruptly, leaving viewers in suspense and raising more questions than it answers. Was the figure inside the train a person, a spirit, or just a trick of the light? And how was the train even running on long abandoned tracks? Andrew's chilling encounter remains a mystery. Number 5. During what seemed like a routine fishing trip, a group of fishermen found themselves in a situation straight out of a war movie. As they cast their nets, they unexpectedly hauled up something that definitely didn't belong: a World War II bomb. Realizing the potential danger, they quickly contacted the authorities. Within no time, explosive ordnance experts arrived on the scene, ready to handle the risky task.
Hell yeah. Ik heb geen spanning meer op de lijn.
Carefully and methodically, they assessed the old, rusted bomb, ensuring it could be safely defused without incident. From a safe distance, the fishermen watched anxiously as the experts worked with precision, knowing how badly things could have gone if they had accidentally mishandled it. Number 6. On Halloween night in 2022, a man and his friend decided to stealth camp in Box Hill, UK, parking their camper in a secluded car park. The evening started peacefully, with warm food and serene countryside views. But as night fell, things took a chilling turn. His friend left, leaving him alone for the night. And that's when everything changed. Around midnight, the calm shattered.
I don't think I'm going to be getting much sleep tonight. There are people about 100 meters away, blazing music out. At least some good songs anyway. And some people screaming. Wish me luck, everybody.
Strange noises echoed from the nearby woods, a mix of faint whispers, rustling, and distant screams. Every rustle of leaves, every faint sound seemed deliberate, as though something or someone was watching. Just as he tried to ignore the fear and get some rest, things got worse. He suddenly froze, convinced he saw a shadowy figure lurking among the trees. Moments later, a soft tapping sound came from the van's windows. Heart racing, he looked outside, only to find nothing there. Terrified and regretting his decision to camp there, he spent the rest of the night locked inside the van.
Morning, guys. You probably wouldn't believe that it is actually 7:30 and it's pitch black outside. Decided to get the gas stove warmed up just to take the chill out the air and get a bit warmer because it's freezing. Right now it's...
Every creak of the forest heightening his paranoia. When dawn finally broke, it brought some relief, but as he emerged, the unease lingered. The woods were quiet, almost too quiet, and despite the brightening sky, the sinister feeling from the night before still hung in the air. Whatever, or whoever, had been out there, it wasn't just his imagination. Number 7. 2 ghost hunters set out on a chilling nighttime investigation at Tom's haunted house, completely unaware of what awaited them.
Another video. I got my boy Rennie with me over here. What up, Rennie? So we got some good news and some bad news for you guys today. Really, really bad news. First of all, the good news is we're back in Tom's haunted house. As you guys can see here, we are in Tom's house. And we're going to be doing the lights out challenge. Basically, we're going to be walking around with a night vision camera, and I've got a new camera, which is a thermal camera. Never used a thermal camera. Yeah, bad. Never used a thermal camera on my videos before, and we're about to test it out today here in Tom's haunted house on the first, second floor, and in the scary ass attic. That being said, that the good news is out of the way. The bad news is you guys remember how Tom's great grandson Cyrus went missing. We couldn't find him, we couldn't get a hold of him, and it's because, well, Rennie found out where he is. He's actually in a mental asylum. Status updates. Yeah.
Right off the bat, they got some unsettling news. Tom's great-grandson Cyrus had been committed to a mental asylum after claiming he was haunted by the same spirits tormenting the house. With that eerie backstory hanging over them, the duo decided to dive into their investigation, armed with a thermal camera they'd never used before.
Already? We just got here. It sounded like there was something standing right behind us, bro. I felt like something walked here.
It didn't take long for the house to make its presence known. Minutes after they arrived, something moved behind them. A silent, eerie welcome. As they ventured deeper, things escalated. One of them headed upstairs alone, navigating the dark hallways using just the dim display on his night vision camera. Every creak and echo felt like a threat. Suddenly, footsteps sounded from above, but his partner was still downstairs.
I'm only relying on my display screen on the camera to see. I literally can't see anything else because there is no light, and no light is being used right now in this house. God bless me indeed. What is this? Okay. I'm scared, bro. I'm actually scared. Really hope there's nobody living in this house since we've last been here. Been a minute since we've been here. Hello?
So who or what was moving around? Then, in the attic, things took an even creepier turn. Glittering lights began to appear, floating purposefully in the pitch black. They weren't camera glitches. They danced through the air, vanishing and reappearing like something supernatural.
I might use thermal over that mattress. Do you guys see that glitter? There's like a shimmer of glitter over there. I want to see what that is. Oh, what the fuck is that? There's something around me. Look, look, look. There's another one. There's another one right there. Yo, Tom, are you here? I've got my thermal camera right here. It's called the FLIR thermal camera. It sees anything thermal, which is super crazy. And it also gives off a heat reading. So what I'm going to be doing is filming with the night vision and the thermal at the same time and putting...
Determined to capture more evidence, they used both the night vision and thermal cameras simultaneously. And that's when things went from scary to absolutely terrifying.
The thermal side by side with the night vision. I'm going to be walking around and seeing if we can capture anything on the thermal. Oh, I'm scared. I'm really, really scared. What the f is that? There's something manifest. Whoa, 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 whoa. What is that? What is that?
Both cameras picked up a figure, a full skeleton-like form, standing ominously in the darkness. Unlike a shadow or blur, this was clear as day. And since thermal cameras only detect heat, whatever they were looking at was emitting actual energy. Panicked, they struggled to breathe as every hair on their bodies stood on end.
Oh shit! What is that? What is that? You guys are looking at the same thing I'm looking at right now. What is that? It's a fucking giant. That is giant, whatever.
I don't want to continue with this. Bro, I have never, every hair on my body is currently raised up so high right now. Dude, I can't even breathe properly. I think it's all the dust in here. I can't breathe properly. Bro, are you sure you want to take the camera and go by yourself? I don't know. I've seen that. I don't even want to stay alone by myself. Dude, I cannot even stress at what I just seen. A full body apparition. It looked like a whole skeleton too. Dude, you saw that, right?
They decided it was time to leave, but not before vowing to return. The flooded basement and its potential secrets would have to wait for another day. What do you think about their encounter? Could it really be a ghost, or is there a rational explanation? Share your thoughts in the comments. Number 8. In this next video, Tim Morozov, a Russian YouTuber known for his eerie explorations and DIY projects, sets out on a nerve-wracking overnight camping trip in a forest steeped in local legends. Rumors tell of a mysterious sorcerer who either protects the world from dark forces or is the source of them. With his loyal dog by his side, Tim ventures deep into these infamous woods, determined to uncover the truth. At first, the forest seems peaceful, but as night falls, the atmosphere changes. Tim's dog suddenly begins barking at something unseen in the distance, his tense posture raising alarms.
Кучу. Кучу. Кучу, ты куда? Ты чувствуешь кого-то? Здесь есть кто?
Tim grabs his thermal camera to investigate but finds nothing. Though the unsettling feeling lingers. Later that night, the barking starts again, and this time, Tim's dog vanishes without a trace.
Кучу. 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 Друзья, я не знаю, что делать. Прошло уже 2 часа, как я зову Кучума, он не приходит. Я надеюсь, что ничего плохого не произошло, и он всего лишь погнался за каким-нибудь зверем или просто ушел погулять. Кучум!
Despite waiting by the fire until morning, there's no sign of him. Faced with the heartbreaking decision to leave or search deeper, Tim chooses to pack up and venture into the woods, hoping to reunite with his missing companion. The video ends here, leaving viewers anxious about their fate.
Сейчас объявится, то мы дальше продолжим путь. Пока он не пришел, я остаюсь здесь.
Thankfully, a later update shows Tim and his dog safely reunited. Although he didn't capture the rumoured sorcerer, this chilling encounter is a reminder of how unpredictable and dangerous the wilderness can be after dark. Number 9. In this encounter, seasoned urban explorer Chris, known for his calm demeanour and fearless attitude, takes on a daunting challenge that would leave even the bravest uneasy. His YouTube channel, Urbex Hill, has gained a reputation for eerie adventures into abandoned and forgotten places, but nothing could prepare him for what he'd face on April 21st, 2022. On this day, Chris ventures alone into a dark and seemingly endless tunnel system beneath Cleveland. As he walks deeper, the atmosphere thickens, the air feels heavier, and an unsettling sense of being watched begins to creep in. Yet, determined as ever, Chris presses forward, documenting every eerie step. Suddenly, he spots something that chills him to the core.
Keeps going. Fuck. Getting way too deep. A lot of water down there.
Two black, shadowy figures with glowing eyes, moving unnaturally in the distance. Their jerky, otherworldly motions freeze Chris in place as they lock eyes with him before vanishing into the shadows. He zooms in with his camera, hoping to capture them, and despite the fear, continues deeper into the tunnel. But just as quickly as they appeared, the creatures are gone. Chris cautiously searches for them but finds nothing, leaving him questioning whether they had somehow outrun him or simply disappeared. Feeling uneasy, he decides it's time to turn back. As he heads out, a bone-chilling scream suddenly echoes through the tunnel. With no one else around besides those strange creatures, Chris is left wondering, did that scream come from them?
What the fuck? Sorry. Somebody screaming.
Intrigued but cautious, he inches toward the sound and notices a flickering light up ahead that hadn't been there before. Not wanting to risk it any further, Chris makes the tough call to retreat. Once safely back home, he reviews his footage, but the mystery remains. Skeptical by nature, Chris refrains from jumping to conclusions, but even he admits that what he saw that night wasn't natural. He uploaded the footage to YouTube, asking his viewers to weigh in. So what do you think? Were these shadowy figures something supernatural? Or could there be a more logical explanation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Number 10. In a tense and unsettling scene from San Antonio, Texas, a man named Michael unexpectedly found himself in the middle of a terrifying situation. While driving near Ingram Park Mall, Michael noticed something unusual. A grey Ford in front of him had its back doors swinging open. What happened next would be captured on his dash cam, and it left him with no choice but to intervene.
Hello? Hi, I need police ASAP. I'm on 410 South by Ingram Park Mall. A lady is screaming outside her Ford, a gray Ford exiting Ingram Road right now. She's trying to get out of a vehicle and the guy won't let. No, she's not exiting. They got back on 410.
As Michael moved closer, He heard it, a woman's desperate screams for help. It soon became clear that something was terribly wrong. Reportedly, the woman was being held against her will by her husband and was attempting to escape. Without hesitation, Michael changed his route, dialing 911 and committing himself to chasing the car in an attempt to rescue the woman. While on the phone with the 911 dispatcher, Michael narrated the harrowing scene unfolding before him. The woman was struggling, kicking, and repeatedly trying to jump out of the moving vehicle, only to be stopped by the driver. Michael tracked every turn the car made, hoping for a chance to intervene.
She's screaming and kicking in the car. She's trying to get out of the car. She's opening the door. She's trying to jump out. He sped up and he couldn't get out. Okay, now we're taking like the turn up. We're on 4. She jumped out! 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 Ma'am, get in my truck! Get in my truck!
He's been hitting.
And then it happened. The woman finally broke free, tumbling onto the pavement as the car sped away. Michael immediately urged her to get inside his truck, providing a safe haven from the danger she had just escaped.
Now.
He has my car, he has everything.
The one on Calabria, yeah. It's her husband, she said. What's his name?
Matthew DeLeon.
Matthew DeLeon.
Right there, tell the
There's a cop. There's a cop right there in front of me.
Turn around. It's a Ford Fusion Gray.
Okay, there's a cop in front of us at 410 in Calabria, or Military Drive. He's right at the exit at the Circle K.
He was beating me.
Hold on.
You don't have to get yourself
No, I'm gonna...
He was beating me.
Officer, we need help! We need help! I'm on the phone with 911. She just jumped out of the vehicle. Can we pull over?
Through tears, the woman explained that she had been attacked by her husband and desperately needed help. As fate would have it, they spotted a police car nearby. Michael quickly flagged the officers down, pulling into a nearby parking lot where law enforcement and paramedics stepped in. The woman, who reportedly suffered minor injuries, was taken to a hospital as a precaution. While the exact reasons behind the husband's disturbing actions remain unknown, Michael's quick thinking and courage may have saved this woman's life.